everybody. How are you today? Oh my goodness, I am pulling this over. Yay! Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody here. Let me just do one thing. I was trying to get this. There we go. I spelled things wrong. There it is. There we go. All right. Got what I needed. Yeah, now I do. Maybe. Okay. Hello. Hi, Joanne. How are you? Nice to have you here. Thanks for coming. And I'm moving a couple of windows around so that I can see everybody. So it's been a fun day. I mean, I got some things done. You know, it's always nice when days are productive and things like that. And had a good morning, and there's Gail, Angel, and Gail, and Joanne, and Larry. Larry was on earlier. I decided to do a random opening of a package that came, and that was kind of fun to do. And so I'm putting in a new system to hold my computer and my iPad next to it so that it makes it a little easier to read books, and if I'm on the iPad, and it also opens up my workspace here so I don't have to keep moving things back and forth. We'll see how it goes. Oops, hiccup, sorry. And no water. Oh, fiddle. Hang on. I have to text Bob. Ask him. Oh, shoot. There it is. So we headed up to Lowe's today and looking for, what did we need to get? Oh, we're looking at the cement blocks that are going to make the wall that we're putting in a new pad for our trailer and moving it back and doing some things. Our neighbor's doing the work. It's quite complex. And so, and then I have to tell you, so after I did the live of the unboxing and stuff, we came back and everything and went up to have dinner and we put on a documentary on cheetahs. And that's why I'm kind of like, because I got absorbed in a wildlife video or wildlife show. You know me, just crazy that I lost all track and went like, I have to get down there. So anyway, today that's where I was and why I'm a little discombobulated, but it's okay. Not a problem. I see that. Could you get me? No, I just needed a water.
Oh, it said focus.
Oh, did it?
Well, give me a water. Okay.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. The weather's cooled off today. Oh, I was also trying to get these pictures off my camera to show you for tonight for art. We had an eagle sitting outside the deck today, sitting up at the top of a tree and calling, and it was very cool. He sat there for a long time, and I did a short on it, but of course every time I was videoing him, he shut up. Ugh. It's like, really, eagle? But I got some pictures of him, and I wanted to pull them off, but of course my Camera Connect thing decided that I use with the Canon R5. Missing a point. Tech. That's okay. It'll still be there. I'll pull them up another time. So, let's see what everybody's been up to. We got Joanne and yeah, you saw Bob just snuck in. He thought I wanted me to focus him. Hi, Bob. It's like a margarita. Like a margarita. Yeah, that'd be funny. Pretty funny. So tonight's stories are a little different but they're kind of at the basis of some stuff. One of them is a factual story, and the other one is a folk tale. And you might think they don't normally go together, but the thing is they do, and they go together a lot more than people think. Because the thing is that all folk tales, generally in some way or another, started with something factual in whatever culture or area they came from. And it is just one of those type of things that they came up, Grimm's fairy tales and all of those type of things didn't come about so much as stories that were just meant for, kind of made up stories. They kind of had a purpose at the time where they were put together and that they were developed. If you lived in the area of the Black Forest or where the Grimms were and stuff like that, and you left the safety of your yard, which probably wasn't much bigger than 5 feet off of your front door and, maybe 10 feet all around in this little hut, you were in the woods and you could get eaten by a big bad wolf. And so these stories developed to really, yes, to scare the bejeebers out of kids, to keep them home, to keep them safe, because parents at that time had to leave to go to work, and they left to go to work and were gone and would have to walk miles to go someplace and leave the kids behind. So and that's how those kind of fairy tales came about. And folk tales came about through different events and different, imaginings or faith or different type of things, events that might have happened in a culture. And so folk tales and factual stories, sometimes it's a fine line, and sometimes true stories become almost folk tale in their telling. So the two books that I have tonight are, the first one is a folk tale from Korea, and then the next one is a factual story from Brazil. And the folk tale is called Tiny Feet Between the Mountains. And it was written and illustrated. Let's see if I get, where am I? Oops, nope, wrong. There, that wasn't supposed to happen. It's okay. Yes, there it is. It was written and illustrated by Hana Cha. And let's see, her work, you're going to see the illustrations in this are just fabulous. Between watercolor and gouache and the things that she uses, the use of color and the layering is pretty amazing. So let's see about her, what she says. Here she is. I'm Hana Cha, and I'm an illustrator and writer. I spent my childhood in both Korea and America. I graduated from Rhode Island School of Design in 2017, and she currently lives in Boston. Finished her first book, Tiny Feet Between the Mountains. She has an affinity for soft washes, narrative, and light. When I'm not doodling away without a care, I love to bask and glow in all 4 seasons and daydream some more stories. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. Okay, that's on that one. So that is the story of Hana Cha, and she is the illustrator and writer of this first book. Tiny Feet Between the Mountains. Let me see, where am I here? Good. Okay. Back. Look at this opening spread. It's just cool. I'm going to drop my picture down. So let me unlock this and move it up a bit. There we go. So you guys can see it better. There we go. Once upon a time, in a large village between two tall mountains, there was a small child. And that is so typical. I'll read that again, of a folk tale. With the opposites. The once upon a time is oftentimes, but a large village between two tall mountains and one small child. So you have those opposites and how they fit together. I always love how folk tales start out with that kind of polar opposite type things. Once upon a time, in a large village between two tall mountains, there was a small child. Her name was Su-in, which means tiny person. When others took 2 steps, she needed to take 4. 1 handful for others meant 3 armfuls for Su-in. But this never stopped her. The people in Su-in's village often competed to see who was the strongest and loudest. They even boasted that they were bigger and more fearless than the spirit tiger rumored to protect the surrounding mountains and forest. Su-in would study the other villagers and complete each task in her own way. "How can someone so tiny keep up?" the villagers would whisper to each other. But still, Su-in refused to give up. One morning, the villagers woke to find the sky was filled with thick black smoke and red embers. Thunder boomed and echoed between the mountains, and the sun was nowhere to be seen. The chieftain asked for a volunteer to go to the mountains and see what had made the sun disappear. The crowd was silent. When still no one spoke up, Su-in took a deep breath and said, "Sir, I will go." Suddenly the villagers' voices rang out. "You can't even carry my pot. How can you bring back the sun?" "You will be lost in those woods." Su-in was startled by the outbursts, but then she calmly folded up her sleeves and tightened her braid. The brave little girl knew she had to try. She ran home to pack her pink bojagi full of supplies for her journey. Don't know if I got that. Look at this forest picture. Isn't it just amazing? Here, let me do something here. I'm going to brighten that up a bit. And look at those. Look at the details in that. Ugh. Su-in knew she was close when she reached the part of the forest where the smoke was the thickest, the hissing sparks were the hottest, and the thunder was the loudest. Suddenly, Su-in stopped dead in her tracks. She couldn't believe her eyes. It was the spirit tiger. Look at that tiger. Oh. Su-in took a step back. She had only ever heard stories about the great spirit tiger. She noticed that heavy tears dripped from the tiger's eyes, and his fur was covered in crackling flames. Looking up, she dared to ask, "Great spirit tiger, what is the matter?" "I am the great protector of the mountains and forests, so I wanted to rule the sky too. I chased the sun with all my might. But when I opened my mouth to roar, I accidentally swallowed it. Now the sun is angry and trying to burn me from the inside, the tiger wheezed. Let me help you, Su-an said. He pulled away. You are a mere tiny child. What can you do? The tiger sounded as doubtful as the villagers, but surely he was wrong about her. I can help, she said. Su-in took out the bottles from her bojagi. She sprinkled the water on his fur, but there were too many flames to put out. Remembering the river, she guided the tiger there. But when they got close, the flames on his fur dried up the water. Su-in tried blanketing the fire with mud instead, but it was no use. Maybe the villagers and the spirit tiger are right. Maybe there is nothing I can do, Su-in sighed sadly. I cannot keep up with the flames on the outside. But then Su-in got an idea. She'd been so focused on what was happening on the outside that she'd forgotten the real problem was on the inside. Spirit tiger, please hold still. Using her pink bojagi to protect herself from her hands from the flames, Su-in climbed up the tiger's tail and onto his back. She crawled through the angry, riled fur, using her tiny hands and feet to tickle the tiger. The spirit tiger began to shake with laughter until smoke filled his nose and achoo! Losing her footing, Su-in began to fall. But the tiger caught her, small body in his large paw, his eyes twinkling like stars. He roared with delight. I can't believe it! You did it! Thank you for your help. She made him sneeze out the sun. Come, let me bring you home. Down in the village, Su-in could see the people scrambling and yelling with fear at the sight of the spirit tiger. They suddenly looked very tiny. Su-in climbed off the tiger and beckoned the villagers forward. One by one, they came out and listened to Su-in's tale. When she was finished, Su-in introduced the villagers to the spirit tiger. Celebration and cheering erupted as the spirit tiger kissed Su-in on the head. He bestowed a blessing on her and the village before returning to the mountains and forest. From that day forward, the villagers were kinder toward Su-in, and she was known as the greatest of them all. And here's the author's note. Long ago in Korea, tigers used to roam freely between the mountains and villages. People would fear the tigers, but at the same time, they saw tigers as a symbol of respect, strength, and dignity. Tigers constantly appeared in Korean stories and images, sometimes as deities, sometimes as threats. Regardless of their role, tigers have always offered a moral and guided the Korean people. Many Koreans believe that their journey was shaped like that their country was shaped like a tiger, and that their spirit animals were tigers. Because of colonization, tigers are now extinct in Korea, but their spirit lives on in the strength of the Korean people. Hi, Julia. Nice to have you here. Yay. I know that the beautiful, beautiful washes that she's done with this. The watercolor washes and ink. Oh, I wonder if she used gouache too. My goodness. So, so pretty. Button. There we go. need to color code those, I think. That's all right. All right, so that book is my folktale for the night. And it was beautifully illustrated. She's just an amazing in what she's done. Let's see. Here. And some of her other things, her illustrations. It showed those. What are her books? She's done that one. So it's only been her first book. But I love all of her other work too. Look at this one. It almost has a Holly Hobby type look to it with the little person here on the left side there. Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, so the next book that I have to read is a factual story, and it's amazing. Let's see, managed loan. I was return that one, and this one is called The Old Man and the Penguin, and it's a true story of true friendship. It's written by Julie Avery, and she's a children's book author and former preschool teacher who shaped her career reading picture books to children from around the world. Originally from England, she now lives in Switzerland and would love it if a penguin came to visit. And Pierre Pratt is the illustrator. He's an internationally acclaimed illustrator of over 100 books for children, including The Branch and One is a Lot, Except When It's Not. He's the recipient of 3 Governor General's Awards and a prestigious Golden Apple Award, which is a UNESCO biennial award, and among other authors. And he divides his time between Lisbon, Portugal, and Montreal, Canada. Let's see if his website, I just found his website, and the bio doesn't say much more on that than what's in the book. And the bio is in another language. So I'm glad it was in the book and I could tell you about it because I can't read French. Yep. So this book is called The Old Man and the Penguin. And yeah, it's this beautiful, beautiful, cute little true. And if you're a penguin fan, which I am, I love penguins, it's kind of fun to have it. So we'll go. The Old Man and the Penguin. I'm going to unlock here. I'm going to bring this down just a bit there. A true story of true friendship. On his walk along the beach, Joao hears a sorry screech. He spies a penguin on the shore who blinks an eye, but nothing more. His feathers soaked in oily goo that's black and sticky, just like glue. Too tired to swim, too weak to stand, he's barely moving on the sand. Joao must save this little guy. Without his help, he'll surely die. He rubs and scrubs him, bubbles fly. He cleans him off and towels him dry. A bowl of fish for every snack. The penguin's strength is coming back. They take a boat ride out to sea to find the place he's meant to be. Joao must leave him there to find other birds of his own kind. He's strong enough to swim away. But he decides he'd rather stay. Fishy kisses, beak to nose, day by day, their friendship grows. Joao gives him a name, Din Dim. They snuggle close. They play and swim. He loves the penguin like a child, but deep inside knows he's wild. Seasons change, new feathers grow. Din Dim knows it's time to go. Instinct draws him out to sea, a splash, a dive. He's swimming free. 4 months pass. He's back on shore and waddles to his old friend's door. Then Joao comes into sight and Din Dim's honking with delight. Wagging tail and dancing feet, waiting for a sardine treat. Time to spend 8 months on land, pampered, loved, and fed by hand. Just like clockwork, every year, Joao knows when he'll appear. Pecks and strokes for happy friends, a precious bond that never ends. And here is the author's note. This is a true and remarkable story of Mr. Joao Pereira de Souza, a retired bricklayer and an oil-soaked penguin. Joao found the penguin while walking near his home on Proveta Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in late spring of 2011. Exhausted and close to death, the penguin had slim chances of survival. After cleaning and feeding him, Joao took him back to sea, but his penguin friend didn't want to leave. A bond grew between them, and Joao named him Din Dim. Every year since his first arrival, Din Dim returns to Proveta Beach to spend time with his rescuer. Din Dim is a Magellanic penguin, sometimes called a banded penguin because of its unique striped pattern. I always call them Magellan penguins. Magellanic penguins are monogamous, which means they stay with the same partner for the whole of their lives. Their favorite foods are fish, such as sardines and anchovies and squid. Magellanic penguins mostly live in South America and the Falkland Islands. In the spring, they migrate north to warmer places such as Brazil, where Din Dim was found. All kinds of wildlife are affected yearly by oil spills in the seas and oceans because oil and water don't mix. Spilled oil sits on the surface of the water. Any birds and animals that swim through it are slick and at risk. Animals, though, whose fur or feathers have been covered in oil are no longer waterproof. The cold sea soaks in between the feathers, and the animals become heavy and cold. They struggle to swim and can die. It was just such an accident that brought Din Dim to Joao's doorstep. Spilled oil is harmful to the environment. It is also toxic to humans. Because of this, the people who help clean up the oil are highly trained. There are also wildlife professionals who rehabilitate and reintroduce animals back into their natural habitats after an oil spill. If you ever find wildlife in distress, when you are out walking along the beach, contact a local wildlife rescue center. I don't know if any of you have ever needed to do that, but multiple times I have had to do that. We found on Lake Washington, on Juanita Beach on Lake Washington, we came across Canadian geese that had the plastics from around that go around like Coke soda bottles, those old plastic things that they did, had gotten around one of them's neck and had wrapped around, and it had grown, and they were in the little one. So we had to call wildlife service for that, and they caught the bird. Another time when we were living in Edmonds, we were watching an eagle swim toward the water, toward the shore. And we were like, I've seen pictures of eagles swimming, but then when he dragged himself out, he had gotten caught with a old fishing net and line and buoy kind of, and he was dragging this thing out of him. So we had, because we lived where we lived in Edmonds, it's a marine park there. There's no dogs allowed on the beach. It's a marine park. It's wildlife protected. You will get seals up on that beach and babies. And so there was docents close by we could call, and they were able to, again, but that eagle, though, got himself out of the water. And by the time the wildlife rescue folks got there, the eagle had picked through and torn apart the line that it was rope that was around his ankle and had freed himself. But man, I've seen it way too many times, different animals caught in things. And you know, I'm fanatic about those those pop containers, you know, that go around soda cans. I make sure they're all cut, and even the little, they're always before they go in the garbage. I don't even, of course, you know, if we have them. Anyway, those are my stories. Here we go. I do it there. They're gone. Yeah, it is sad that the tigers are gone from Korea. They're still found in other places, but they're just different kinds of mountain tigers. Yeah. You're glad you like it. I know they're both really sweet, and how stories, you know, based in events. There had to be at some, you know, folk tales come about from some story that gets exaggerated or told again and again about something in a village or somewhere, about who knows how that came about. And I'm sure probably in another 100 years, this story about Joao and the penguin will have a whole folk tale of its own in Brazil. I think that would be very cool. I know it's fun when the rhyming, you loved all the rhyming, can pull a story together like that. Yes, oil is it's good to see how she described it at the end about that, what it does to the animals, how it takes their waterproofing away and keeps them cold. Always some truth in fables. You bet there is. There's always some truth in fables, and that's how they come about. They always storytellers, and when I went through my storytelling degree and in college and those classes, Dr. Sam Sebesta, always would say that storytellers was the second oldest profession in the world, because there was a time that people, when they did not read or couldn't write yet, the majority of the people didn't read or write. So storytellers would go from village to village and town to town and tell the stories from what happened and take the news. And it was quite the big event in ancient times when a storyteller came into the village or into a place and had the stories to tell. And so it's always fun to see that, but I always laughed at Dr. Sebesta saying that about being the second oldest profession. What's the oldest? Yeah. So anyway, you guys, that's the stories. Those are the stories for tonight we have. And if you sent in artwork, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even look to do so. If you did send anything, check my email again, but I'll show it tonight. Well, they always say working girls, yeah. I'll check tonight and get it in tomorrow. If you do send anything, I'm being a mom. Yeah. I think maybe it should be that storytelling's the second oldest paid profession. Yeah, moms don't get paid. Anyway, if you have some art to share, send it to my email and put live show in the subject line. That'll help me find it in my vast number of emails. Oh my gosh. And we'll get them in tomorrow night. So for now, that's it for story time. I sent a couple pictures. Yes, you did. You sent them, and I have those bookmarked, Larry. And I saw them last night, and then I forgot to pull them out. Quite frankly, I just last minute got so lost in watching the cheetahs and everything like that. Should say live art. It does. It does. Larry, thank you very much. You're always so good about doing that, about putting them in there. And then, and I'll have the eagles pulled off my camera. Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps I will. Yes, I will. All right, everybody, you guys, thanks so much for being here and for joining me for story and art tonight. I appreciate it so much. And until next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around. First place you'll find it is in your mirror. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. It warms my heart. And I thank you for inviting me into your home. Until next time, take care. And nope. That's...
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feel alright, we won't go home. We will just
They were great, Larry. I just forgot to pull them up.
There's not just stars on the boulevard. They're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards. I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous.
Oh, yes, do.
With a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous. Wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. We could be famous. You blow my mind, looking like a model, better than usual. Yeah, you don't even try. Not average or typical. I put you on a pedestal. There's not just stars on the boulevard. They're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards. I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous. Wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be
Yay, Lupe! Yay!
cool with a
Thank you for being here.
drop dead gorgeous. Wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous.
I know. All right, you guys. Bye.